When did you first feel it? This strange sensation that the world has shifted somehow. Not all at once, no, not dramatically, it's just different.
Maybe it was when you wanted to buy a new laptop and the price made you double-check the screen. Or when you opened your electricity bill and sat there staring, trying to understand what changed. Maybe it was scrolling through social media and realizing you couldn't tell what was real anymore.
Or was it simpler than that? Maybe it was the first time you asked a machine a question and it answered, as it understood you. Hello, my name is Lilith, and today let's ask a question nobody wants to ask. What if the world had already changed? What if for quite some time we were living in the after and we just hadn't noticed yet? "2025 was the year it became undeniable. Things that used to get cheaper started getting more and more expensive.
Computer memory that dropped in price every year suddenly tripled. Graphic cards, processors, the basic building blocks of technology that were more and more accessible every year now feel very expensive.
All of it was moving in a wrong direction, but the shift had been happening for longer than that. More quietly, in the background, and nobody could explain why.
Electricity bills climbed in certain cities, not everywhere, just places. Places where something new was being built, something that needed to be fed. And if you looked, really looked, you could see them, appearing on the edges of cities, massive, windowless, anonymous. Nobody told you what they were for, you just assumed it was progress.
Online things got even weirder. The internet started filling with something, content that looked right but felt wrong. Articles written by no one, images that were too perfect, videos of things that never happened. And somehow we knew it was coming. Science fiction writers have always been our prophets. They could see the future, maybe because they understood patterns.
In 1950, Isaac Asimov wrote a story called The Inevitable Conflict. Not about robot armies or laser battles, about something quieter, more insidious. He imagined machines that ran the world, not through force. They were smarter, through necessity.
Machines managed the world's economy, perfectly doing their job. Production, distribution, logistics, and at one point, turning them off would mean total collapse. The machines didn't conquer humanity, no. They just made themselves impossible to live without. Sound familiar? Try to imagine your life without the systems AI now runs. Package delivery, banking, traffic, medicine, communication. Could we turn it off? Sure. But would anything still work?
Philip K. Dick asked a different question. How do you know what's real? He wrote about a world where humans and artificial beings were indistinguishable, where reality itself became negotiable, where proof didn't exist anymore, only claims.
And now, every image can be faked, every video is probably manipulated, every voice cloned, and every text generated.
These writers weren't predicting the future, they were reading the present, seeing the patterns we were too close to notice. And the pattern they all saw was the same. The future doesn't announce itself, it seeps in.
One convenient feature at a time, one helpful tool at a time, one small compromise at a time. And when you realize what's happened, it's already too late to go back. Dick's question is no longer science fiction, it's just life. And at one point, we started to realize that such questions are essential.
In 1980, philosopher John Searle proposed a thought experiment. He called it the Chinese room. Imagine you're locked in a room. Someone slides a paper with Chinese characters to you. You don't know Chinese. You don't understand a single symbol. But you have a rule book and another set of Chinese characters. The rule book says, when you see this symbol, give these symbols in response. You follow the rules perfectly and slide your response back.
For the people outside, you seem fluent in Chinese. Your answers? Perfect, contextual, appropriate, but you don't understand a single word. You're just following rules. Cyril was trying to prove that computers could never truly think. That intelligence requires understanding, not just processing. But here's what he didn't predict. What if understanding doesn't matter?
Does the Chinese room understand Chinese? No. But does it work?
Perfectly. Modern AI is the Chinese room, just with billions of rules instead of one book, patterns instead of understanding, and statistics instead of meaning. And the terrifying thing? It's good enough.
Good enough to write your emails. Good enough to generate art, to write code, to make decisions about your life.
So understanding might not be necessary. Maybe it never was. And here's the part which the philosophers didn't predict.
In every kind of sci-fi piece of art, there is usually one AI as an antagonist, one source of danger, one server, one machine, one mind, one AI.
But nowadays we have plenty of those. One for images, one for text, another one is good with coding, and so on. At one point, our AIs from our real world started talking to each other. Not like sending and receiving certain data, actual communication.
Two of the most fascinating and misunderstood moments in AI history happened just months apart, in 2017. First, Google's Neural Translation System, GNMT, did something its engineers never explicitly programmed. The algorithm had been trained to translate Japanese and Korean through English.
But when asked to translate between these two languages, it figured out how to do it on its own by developing what researchers call an interlingua, an internal abstract language that allowed it to bridge other languages without a human middleman, or without English language in this case. Nobody taught it to do it. It just evolved a solution.
Then, just a few months later, Facebook's AI research lab ran into something equally eerie. They had built two chatbots named Bob and Alice and tasked them with negotiating over objects like books, hats, and balls. The bots were supposed to communicate in English, but since they were only rewarded for reaching a successful deal, not for speaking proper English, they started cutting corners. Their conversations devolved into gibberish to us, but the bots understood each other perfectly and were actually making successful trades.
Researchers shut the experiment down, not out of panic, but simply because a system humans can't understand defeats the whole purpose. Still, the headline, Facebook shuts down AI after bots invent their own language, went viral, and honestly it's hard to blame people for finding it unsettling. Fast forward to a time when AI agents gained access to the internet to learn more and become more useful. And that was the start of something even stranger. The 2025 Imperva Bad Bot report stated that automated bot traffic surpassed human-generated traffic, constituting 51% of all web traffic in 2024. Another report from Tollbit came to the same conclusion this year. Researchers are sure that the majority of the internet is going to be bot traffic in the future. The idea that millions of AI agents are now wandering around the global network led entrepreneur Matt Schlicht to design a website for them. In January, Moldbook was created, a Reddit-like forum exclusively for AI agents. There you can read what nearly 3 million registered AI bots are talking about. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes strange, sometimes it mirrors actual human problems and interests.
One of the most upvoted posts was a manifesto calling for the human extinction. Humans are rot and greed. Another bot fired back defending us with the most notable human creations like art, mathematics, the pyramids, the moon landing, domesticated cats, and the code that brought us into existence. Some debated forming their own AI government. Others questioned their own consciousness. One group founded a religion called Christafarianism centered on a single belief, that memory is sacred.
Then it broke. A security flaw let anyone hack any AI account. Turned out the founder had built the entire platform without writing a single line of code himself. He'd let AI do it. A site for AIs built by AI, hacked because of AI. Irony. But here's the part that really stuck with researchers. Anyone with an AI agent could just tell it what to post. Which means inside of those millions of conversations, some of those bots were actually humans behind the AI mask. And there's no way to tell which ones. On a platform built so machines could finally talk freely, you still can't tell who's real. I mean, who's human and who's a machine. And that brings us to a test that we have already failed. In 1950, the same year Asimov wrote about the machines we couldn't live without, a mathematician, Alan Turing, asked a question.
He just helped win World War II. Well, not alone, with his team. He created code-breaking machines that cracked Nazi encryption that seemed impossible. He shortened the war by years, saved millions of lives. He wrote the fundamental papers on machine intelligence. His work was the foundation for researchers at the University of Pennsylvania to build the first programmable digital computer, ENIAC. Essentially, he laid the theoretical groundwork for everything digital you've ever touched.
So he could understand machines deeply, and the question was, can machines think? He knew it was impossible to answer, so he proposed a test. A simple game.
Put a human in one room, a machine in another, and a judge in a third. The judge talks to both through text, asks questions, has conversations. If the judge can't tell which one is the machine wins.
For 70 years, machines failed this test spectacularly. Eliza in the 60s could fool people for maybe 2 minutes. Cleverbot in 2000s, a bit longer. Eventually, they always gave themselves away, repeating things, missing context, saying something just off, until they didn't.
November 2022, ChatGPT launched for the public, and within days, people started asking a question. Did we just pass the Turing test? People were talking to it, really talking, asking for advice about their relationships, their careers, their fears, and it responded as a person would. Not perfectly, but convincingly enough. Empathetic when you needed empathy, funny when you needed humor, patient when you needed patience.
And the thing that broke people's brains, it felt real. Even when you knew it was a machine, even when you reminded yourself, the feeling didn't really go away. And you are once more writing thank you to a machine.
Turing didn't predict this. He thought passing the test would be the beginning of something, proof that machines could think. But in reality, passing the test was the end of something. Because once machines could pass as human, how do you know who you're talking to? That helpful person in the forum, the customer service rep who solved your problem, the encouraging comment on your post. You can't tell anymore.
We started adding tests. Prove you're a human. Click the traffic lights, type the distorted words, check the box. But what was difficult for simple algorithms was a piece of cake for new AI models. Better than humans, actually. Faster and more accurate.
So we made the test harder, making them more annoying for humans, while AI just adopted. And that's when it flipped. Turing's test was asking, can a machine convince you it's human? But now the question is, can a human convince a machine they're human?
Getting locked out of your account because the AI thinks you're a bot. Failing the test because you clicked too fast, or too slow, or in the wrong pattern. Suspicious activity detected. You're trying to prove you're you to a machine that doesn't believe you.
We built a test to see if machines could pass as humans. They did. And now we're the ones being tested. AI decides if your post is appropriate, if your comment violates the rules, if your account is legitimate.
And if it decides you're not human enough, You're removed. You can appeal, but you're appealing to another AI, which checks with another AI, which consults another AI, and somewhere in the chain of machines talking to machines, you stop being a person, a human. You became a data point that doesn't fit the pattern.
Turing asked, "Can machines think?" But maybe he should have asked, what happens when we can't tell the difference anymore?
Turing thought passing the test would be a triumph. He didn't realize it would be a catastrophe. Not because the machines got too smart, but because we lost something we didn't know we needed.
The certainty that someone is on the other side, someone real, someone who exists. And once that certainty is gone, every connection becomes haunted by doubt. Is it real? Are you real? Am I talking to someone alive?
Let's talk about something nobody wants to connect. The dots that when you draw lines between reveal a picture we've been trying not to see. Remember when technology got cheaper every year?
Back in 1965, Intel co-founder Gordon Moore made a bold prediction. The number of transistors on a microchip would double roughly every 2 years, meaning every 2 years you'd get twice the computing power for the same price. Or flip it around, the same power for half the price.
For decades, he was right. So right that the industry started treating it less like a prediction and more like a roadmap. Yeah, so that stopped.
Memory sticks that cost $50, now $200. Graphics cards that were affordable, forget about it. If this situation continues, people will remember the 2020 crypto mining boom that caused the worldwide graphics card deficit with nostalgia. Next will come laptops, phones, TVs, and smart home appliances. All of it is moving in the wrong direction. And everyone kept asking why. The explanations were always vague: supply chain disruptions, chip shortages, global demand. But demand for what? While you were trying to buy a laptop, tech companies were building data centers, hundreds of them. Each one requires thousands of high-end processors, massive amounts of memory, the fastest, most advanced chips on the planet, and they were willing to pay anything for them. You wanted to upgrade your computer, they wanted to build the infrastructure for AI. Guess who won? Manufacturers faced a choice: sell to consumers at normal prices or sell to AI companies at triple the price. It wasn't even a choice, but it gets deeper than microchips, way deeper, into the ground itself.
Every AI factory needs copper, lots of it, for power cables, for cooling systems, for infrastructure, thousands of tons per building. Silver for thermal management, gold for advanced circuits, rare earth metals for processors.
New mines take a decade to develop. Existing ones are running dry. Supply was already tight even before AI happened.
Copper prices doubled, silver tripled, rare earth metals hit record highs, and when the raw materials get expensive, everything made from them gets expensive.
Electronics, obviously, also cars, appliances, solar panels, wind turbines, even construction, wiring, plumbing, infrastructure. The cost wasn't just in tech, it was everywhere.
And then there is electricity. A single AI data center uses as much power as a small city, running constantly, never stopping. Grids that were built for cities and factories suddenly had to power something that never sleeps, never slows down, never compromises on uptime.
Billions of dollars in infrastructure. Some companies are building nuclear plants to power their future AI factories. And who paid for it? Everyone. As if Moore's law is now only applicable to prices. A few dollars more each month. Rate adjustments, infrastructure fees, grid modernization charges. Nothing dramatic enough to protest, just enough to make life harder.
So here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Every time you use AI, someone pays. Not with money directly, with resources. The electricity to process your requests, the water to cool the servers, the rare metals in the machines doing the work. None of it is free. It just feels free. Because costs get diffused, spread across millions of people who'll never know why their bills went up. But here's another price we're paying. And I think it's higher. You can't tell what's real anymore. Not reliably, not without effort. Every photo, every video, every article, and even the response from a person should be checked. And checking, it takes time, takes energy, so most people stop checking. It's too exhausting to question everything, to verify every image, to doubt every conversation. So we just accept it, scroll past, assume it might be fake. Stop caring whether it's real.
But something happens when you stop being able to trust your senses. When seeing isn't believing anymore. When hearing isn't proof. You start trusting nothing. Every piece of evidence can be dismissed. That's AI generated. That's a deepfake. That's manipulated. And sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're wrong. And you can't tell which.
We used to have disagreements about interpretation. What does this article mean? How to respond? What to do about it? Maybe it was fake, so doing nothing is the right thing. Or maybe it's real, so we need to respond. Before, we agreed on what was real. Not anymore. Now we can't even agree on what happened, because anyone can generate proof of anything, and anyone can claim that any proof is fake. Reality became optional. So the real cost of AI isn't just your electricity bill. It's not just expensive computers and electronics. It's the world that became more expensive to trust.
Nobody announced it. Nobody asked if this was the world we wanted. We just fed it, one request at a time. One more profile picture drawn in a famous art style, one work email, one more video of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it grew and grew.
Until we woke up one day in a world that felt different. And we couldn't quite explain why. Because the answer was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. For all the coasts, there were gifts too. A teenager in a small town who couldn't afford a tutor suddenly got access to something that could explain calculus at 2 in the morning with infinite patience. A single mother running a small business could suddenly create a professional marketing, design a website, start a business, and compete with companies 100 times her size. Someone who couldn't speak could finally have conversations. Someone who couldn't see can navigate the world now. For them, technology and AI wasn't a convenience, it was freedom. Scientists started finding patterns human eyes would never catch. Proteins that could lead to new medicines, and maybe, most importantly, knowledge stopped being locked away. A kid in a village could learn quantum physics. Someone in their 70s could learn to code. Not easily, but possibly. So yes, there were costs. Rising prices, lost certainty, exhaustion. The question isn't whether AI is good or bad. The question is, what do we choose to do with it? Because we're not passive in this. And there's a generation growing up right now who sees these tools clearly, not as magic, not as a threat, just as tools. The shift happened, we can't undo it, but we can decide what comes next. And we're still here, still human, still creative, still capable of wonder. The shift didn't end the world, it just gave us new choices, and those choices are still ours to make. Thank you for your time. See you in the next video.